Welcome to Zanis Sports, and today we shall be reviewing the year 2024, how the country performed, especially in the football circles. And I am your host, Tovini Ngombe, and on today's program, I am with me, Peter. I have Peter Chanda, my soccer analyst. Welcome to the program after a long time.
Thank you, Tovin. Thank you for having me.
All right. And I have Melek, Melvin Melek. Welcome to the program, Mr. Melek.
Thank you, Tovin, and it's always good to be back on Zanis Sports after a while.
All right. As you are aware, this year has been a successful year in terms of football, and maybe before we go and see what has transpired in all the football circles, talking of the under-20, the under-17, the national team for women and for men, how would you describe the year to Peter?
Tovin, I would say 2024 has been a success for Zambia, especially when you look at the developmental squads. And what do I mean by that? The under-20s, under-17 boys and girls, except maybe the only setback I would say was for the under-20 women's team when they went to St. Dominican for the FIFA club FIFA under-20 World Cup.
Under-17?
Under-17, sorry.
Right.
Yes, so that's the only setback I would say we recorded, one of those we recorded, but largely, by and large, it's been a success. 2024 has been a good year to witness as a Zambian soccer fan as well as a Zambian citizen.
All right. Melvin, how do you describe 2024 from January to date? How the country has performed in terms of football?
Thank you so much, Tovin. Generally, just like Peter said, I think Zambian football has been on a sound note starting from the beginning of the year. Just like he has mentioned, I think we saw most of our junior squad qualifying to the respective tournaments, and we did see that even the senior Zambia national team qualifying for the Africa Cup, which will be taking place in Morocco come December 2025. So I think the Zambian team, more especially on the developmental side, we can say we have recorded 100% in terms of preparations for major tournaments, because that's where football starts from. If you look at the developmental teams, we talk of the COSAFA teams, just like I have mentioned. I think we have done very well, and it tells you a lot, Tovin, because we start from there. I've been talking about Senegal, having a very good squad. It all starts from the developmental teams, and if you can have very good teams from our junior teams, then you see that the national team senior level will be up to speed.
All right, Peter, let's look at the Zambia national team, the men. From the time I think we are from, in 2023 December, we had the Africa Cup of Nations, which spilled over to 2024. Looking at their performance, and from there they have picked up, they have qualified again to the Africa Cup of Nations. How do you describe their progression into this into the sports?
Thank you, Tovin. Well, when it comes to the men's senior national soccer team, I would say it's been a year with mixed feelings. And of course, having booted out of the AFCON 2022, which was played last year, although I would say we were booted in the first round. It were not the results we were looking for. We actually had a poor run. Now coming back, we started on a good note when the qualifiers came through. Of course, we had both losses and a couple of draws. I remember there were calls for the blood of the Israeli coach Avram Grant, because fans were not seeing us progressing. They could sense failure of qualification like it was in the yesteryears. But I think the tide changed and took a positive turn. And I would say towards the end, the odd man actually fair enough managed to steer the ship and steer the national team to the forthcoming AFCON and managing to qualify. if it's something to go by, I would say it's been a year with mixed feelings when it comes to the senior team, the men's senior national soccer team. But by and large, I would say there have been good lessons learned, especially from being booted out of the AFCON. We were scared we would not make it to the next one, but having made it, and we are talking about going there, it's now a matter of putting the A game when it comes to preps, seeing where the screws that loosen up, we tight them close, tight, and now make sure we go to the next tournament and ensure we qualify and get good results and go back to the glory days and be a powerhouse when it comes to African football again.
All right, Peter. It was actually a good initiative or a good performance by the national soccer team, but despite the difficulties that they went through after being booted out, and now we entered the series of qualification, Merrick, and we saw that most of the key players were injured, and no one had hoped that would maybe improve through. But the gaffer, the Israeli, did something extraordinary and proved his critics wrong who were calling for his sacking. How would you describe that?
Yes, thank you, Tobin. It was quite very interesting, more especially that, like you put it, everyone was calling for Avram Grant, to pack, okay, because I think the Zambia national team had not performed very well. But he proved himself, the critics wrong, when he assembled a team which was comprising of most of the players not being experienced. But we saw how Avram Grant utilized those players, and they were able to turn around the results. They were very motivated. So for me, I think the football knowledge that Avram Grant did inculcate in the players, I think it was to do with motivation, and that worked for Avram Grant, because just like I said, Tobin, you agree with me that most of the players, they were not at that level in terms of playing at the highest stage, but we did see that Zambia were able to perform, and if you look at the game that we played Ivory Coast at Levi Manasseh Stadium, I think that is the game that showed you that indeed Avram Grant had worked on the players, more especially on the cognitive mental ability, and we saw how they took on Ivory Coast at Levi Manasseh Stadium and were able to win. So I think what Avram Grant did bring on the field was to inculcate the football knowledge, and obviously he sacked the players in terms of psychology, because they were motivated and they were able to take on Ivory Coast, a very big team in African football.
All right, maybe before we go to the women performance, Peter, on the Zambia national soccer team, the men as well, and they have qualified to our Africa Cup. What is your message, especially as we go into, as we be now in 2025, what is your message to the national team, and what should they do to ensure that at least they should not come out in the opening stages of the match?
Okay, my message is actually a threefold message, of course, addressing three parties. One is from the FA to make sure we have quality friendlies before the tournament. It's something we've really lacked when it comes to that phase. I would say when you look at the 2012 winning side, that's a squad that had stayed together for quite some years, and there were some quality friendlies. I remember that's the time we played the likes of Ghana, played the likes of South Korea, we played the likes of Brazil, we played the likes of Norway in those friendlies. And when you look at that, that's some quality teams or team opponents to face when you prepare for the tournament. We also had some boot camps, camping in South Africa, camping in Spain, to name but a few. So those are the kind of things that we need to have the players get the exposure they need and get the preparations. That was also, it keeps them away from home. When you're home, it's something you may have a lot of issues that may also come to play on your psyche. Like my colleague said, when a player is not focused on one thing, they tend to have a divided attention, even in terms to with their performance. So when they're away, they are likely to just concentrate on what is the in thing that you are really looking at, good performance. So that's the message to the FA, ensure we have quality friendlies and good preparations altogether. The coach, my message also is continue steering like he did. We had a mixed when it comes to resources or human capital. We had the old, the medium, and the young. I'm talking about the Obino Chisalas, of course, being in the medium. We also have the Songach Piokas. We saw the revelation of Sabobo from the young ones. We saw the likes of the Tandi Mwapes being, resurgence of Kabaso Chongo, Tostan Sabata reclaiming between the sticks. So that's what we need to continue growing, and also look elsewhere from the young ones that were growing. How can we transition them? Who can we graduate from the developmental sides that were so successful to be just in the ranks and learning from the old guys so that they can take on the mantle when time comes? That's message number 2. And then finally, but not the least, the players. The same spirit they put in towards the qualifications, and what lessons did they learn from the AFCON after being booted from the first round? They were booted out and they came back home. So now is, how do you go back? They need to have that mentality, winner's mentality with the hunger to again, to meet the silverware. So that's my threefold messages to the FA, the coach, and the players themselves, to stay glued and look at the bigger picture, focus on the silverware.
All right. Melvin, what's your message as well to the national team? What should they do to ensure that at least this time we are not just there next year in December as passengers at the Africa Cup?
Thank you so much, Tobin. The fact that we have qualified for Morocco 2025 Nations Cup, yes, I will concur with what Peter said. We need the FA, to come up with a lot of competitive, friendly matches, and if we can see that the national team is well prepared by fans, having those competitive, friendly matches, taking on bigger teams like maybe Nigeria, you talk of the same Ivory Coast, talk of even Ghana, even when they haven't qualified, but I think they can give Zambia a very good run in terms of preparedness. So we call upon fans to ensure that they prepare the national team by taking them to organizing friendly matches. Not only that, I think also for the coach, I want to appeal to Avram Grant to ensure that he maintains the team. Okay, there is the revelation of Obino Chisala, there is also Sabobo Banda, and we expect that those players that ensured that Zambia qualified to the Nations Cup are maintained, so that come the time that Zambia will be trekking to Morocco, we'll have a solid squad. Look at the way Kennedy Mson performed. So if we can have a very good partnership in terms of striking force, we have Kennedy Mson who was able to steer the team in the absence of our talisman Patson Daka, who just came on board and is able to play now for Leicester City. So we have a very good partnership in terms of scoring opportunities. So I urge Avram Grant to maintain the team, and also fans to ensure that it prepares the team so that it can have competitive, friendly games.
All right. Let's look at also the women national soccer team and their performance. This year they participated in the Olympics, and now they also qualified to Africa Cup. And now even on the table there, they have improved. They are number 4 in Africa. How do you look at their performance, Peter?
Overall, I think when we were struggling with the men's national team, at least the Copper Queens were something, or should I say, that was a corner that would bring joy and glory to the soccer-loving fans from across the country. So yes, they've had a good run. Of course, after being beaten at the World Cup, of course, it was a miserable outing, and then followed the Olympics, which we thought they would replicate the performances of the debut outing, but it wasn't to happen on a successful note. But that exposure helped them such that when it came to the local front at AFCON qualifiers, we saw them beat the likes of Morocco, Angola. We saw the likes of Ghana, of course, being beaten. And then that meant sure that they booked a slot at the forthcoming WAFCON. And of course, I can't talk about the success of the team without mentioning the likes of course, Coach Bruce Mwape did his part, played a role in there with the likes of Halubono. Coach Halubono did well with the women also. We can also not talk about, we can not forget talking about Caro. Caro also did her part. So that also came in as a collection. And then we saw the likes of Coach William for Zesco Ndola Ladies combining with friends Florence from Zanaco. They also took the team to the COSAFA and they won. So that simply shows that women's football also has been on the rise. And it's been a good year. We look at the accolades the individuals also they've meant and they've collected. We look at the likes of Kundananji being recognized. You look at Barbara Banda, of course, you know, making headlines and winning individual accolades. That also simply shows that performances by the ladies has also been something to write home about. I can, you know, hit my chest hard with pride and say the Copa Queens did us proud as a country.
All right. Melvin, how do you look at the Copa Queens as well?
Tobin, if there is any women team in Africa which has greatly improved, it is the Copa Queens. If you look at the Copa Queens, Tobin, you agree with me that Bruce Mwape being the coach of the Copa Queens since he has been at the helm, I would say that yes, he has assembled a very good team, though he has received a lot of critics because of his tactical approach to the team. But overall, we may say that we have individual brilliance in the squad, and players like Barbara Banda, Rachel Kundananji, Rachel Nachulas of this squad, I think they have been there in terms of steering the team to, you know, winning ways. And for me, I would say that the team, the Copa Queens, if you look at the way they have performed at world level, that tells you a lot, Tobin. It's all because of the development that FAS has put in place in terms of those teams. I talk of the under-17, I talk of the under-20, because the players that are playing in the senior team, the Copa Queens, I think they are coming from these junior teams. You agree with me that if you look at the under-17, for instance, they qualified to the Nations Cup. You look at the under-20, they also qualified. They won at the COSAFA. And if you look at the senior team, those players that are coming from the under-20, and by the way, the under-20, they are very competitive. They have the skill, such that even the generation of the Barbara Bandas of this world phases out. We will have a strong team that will represent Zambia at a very bigger stage in the world. So for me, I think generally, the Copa Queens has generally performed very well because of maybe what FAS has put in place in terms of development of women's football. More especially, the introduction of the Women's League. I think that has been the mastermind in terms of development of women's football, and Zambia can even be proud. We can be proud of the performance of the ladies.
All right. Peter, let's look at also Diana Chikotesha being crowned as a CAF Assistant Referee of the Year. How do you look at her performance as well, individual performance? And together with Barbara Bandas being crowned as CAF Player of the Year and also BBC Player of the Year.
Tovin, I would say hats off to Diana Chikotesha. She stood the test of time. And of course, even as a country, we are proud. We haven't had, should I say, good performances when it comes to the whistle men and women. After Zanis Kazwe, we really struggled to produce the A list of referees when it came to the both local as well as international tournaments. But Diana Chikotesha has been trekking from continent to continent, country to country, raising the Zambian flag so high. And of course, I would say hats off to Diana. That's something really brilliant. And it's something other refs that are coming through the ranks from all developmental, should I say, tournaments, division tournaments, as well as the Zambian Super League. You know, they need to take a leaf at what Diana Chikotesha has done. That's something really to marvel about. And then when it comes to Barbara Banda, like I said earlier, it simply shows that she's putting so much hard work when it comes to playing and redeeming herself as well as helping the team. You know, she did help Orlando Pride win their maiden trophy when it comes to women's football in the USA. You know, she joined her compatriot in Rachel Kundananji, who also teams out for Bayside, BFC. Of course, they didn't have a very good run as compared to the other, but those are such kind of performances that, you know, where you are motivated by your friend's success. We saw the USA also, you know, the likes of Grace Chanda also trooping, joining. Of course, she didn't play because of injuries, but it's good to have players being, you know, shipped or being roped into big leagues. That way, it strengthens the squad, also the nation team at large. Of course, we qualified. I talked about qualifications. When you look at the games like Morocco, look at the games like Ghana, it took the brilliance of the skipper herself, Barbara Banda, BB11, of course, with Rachel Kundananji stepping up on the pedal, and of course calling up the likes of the Avoch Tundus of this world, the Catherine Saunders, of course. We also had the likes of Pauline Zulu, of course, who's now who'll be playing now for Zanaco Ladies, having left Elite Ladies. But those are the kind of things that we see when you're a skipper. You lead from front, and she definitely did that. And it's good. Kudos to Diana Chikotesha, and of course, hats off to Barbara Banda as well.
All right. Melvin, how do you look at the performance of this Barbara Banda and Diana Chikotesha as well? Comment as well.
No, just like we echo with what Peter said. I think for a long time after Zanis career, I think we haven't received as a country in terms of representation, African awards. It was very exciting to see that Diana Chikotesha was able, you know, to win that Best African Assistant Referee of the Year. And you know, it gives Zambia, you know, Barbara Banda did mention that Zambia Kuchalo after that, you know, getting that award. You know, it puts Zambia at global stage in terms of football and winning those accolades. So for me, I think the ladies did, you know, proud for Zambia for winning those awards. For Barbara Banda, Tobin, I'll tell you that the last time Zambia did win that award was since 1988, when African Footballer of the Year, Kalusha Wale, did win that award, African Footballer of the Year. So since that period, you can imagine how many years has passed. And Barbara Banda did come on board and managed to win that award. And for information, Southern Africa, I think we have only Barbara Banda and Kalusha Wale in terms of history records who have gone as far as winning that award, CAF Best Player of the Year. So for me, I think the two women, that is Diana Chikotesha, in terms of refereeing, we have seen her gone places. She has officiated at the world stage. She has been all over. And in terms of Barbara Banda, you have seen how she has also been banging goals at Orlando Pride. And that gives a lot of hope for Zambian game, more especially women football, because I think Zambia just should I may say a decade ago, I think we were just in the doldrums. We were not there. South Africa did dominate in terms of football in Southern Africa, but Zambia is a household name in terms of women's football, and South Africa can attest to the Zambian ladies.
Thank you so much. Let's look at also the local team, the Zambian national team, the local team which we have, qualifying to the CHAN without even kicking a goal. After Mozambique pulled out because of the post-election instability going on right now in Mozambique. How do you look at the performance of the boys as well, and what should they do, Peter, for them to maintain the momentum since they didn't kick the ball but they have qualified?
Tovin, that can be a blessing and a curse at the same time. A blessing in that you really progress at the expense of someone without even participating, if I may call it that way, or without kicking the ball like you rightly put it. That can be a blessing. However, it can also be, that could also be a case in that you become complacent. And that way, remember earlier I talked about friendlies. You may lack team cohesion. You may lack team togetherness before the tournament. How do you keep that? That's where now you organize friendlies with a caliber of what would have been your opponent, or what would be your opponent in the forthcoming tournament. That way it helps the team stay together. Team cohesion becomes a primary thing, because you are qualifying without playing. That also deprives of the coach a chance to see who can play where, which player combinations or combination may work to propel the team. So that works both ways, and also it has both sides. It's a double-edged sword, may kill you or may kill the opponent. So it's a good thing to qualify, but we really now need to prepare the team. Of course, it's a local assemblance of the team from the local clubs that are going to participate in the Chan forthcoming tournament.
All right. Melvin.
Yes, Tobin, for me, I'll call it it's a dangerous qualification in that, you know, the players haven't been together, haven't gelled, okay? The coach, yes, would have assembled the team, 34-man squad, which was to participate, but they never played together. So it is quite very precarious in terms of, you know, going forward, because if, imagine Zambia played in Mozambique, you know, the coach would have maybe spotted some gray areas. And when Zambia was to participate in the return leg, of course, the final return leg, we would have seen that, or the coach would have also spotted some points where he needed to improve. But that never took place. So for me, I think it is quite very, it puts Zambia on a precarious situation. Just like Peter said, you know, it would be a double-edged sword, like he has just put it, you know, because you may not know. Okay, but the most important thing that fans can do is to ensure that they prepare the team in terms of bring those friendly matches, so that the coach, Wada Nyirenda, may look at the players' fitness, may look at the players' coordination levels, so that going forward, you know, it's just a month in between. February, the tournament to kickstart. So the coach must be given an opportunity by way of providing those friendly matches, so that he can see where he can improve the team. Otherwise, it's a very dangerous qualification.
All right, let's also come to the MTN Super League. Just before they go, they went on recess for about 2 weeks now. We see the team which is on top. We have seen Zesco has maintained the top spots with 32 points. In Ghana, after coming from down, they are now on number 2 with 30 points, sharing the spoils. They got differences with Cow Warriors, which has 30 points. In fact, they are about Green Eagles at 30 points, Red Arrows 30 points, Power Dynamos 29 points, Nkwazi FC 28, Green Buffaloes has 26 points. We have FC Muza 25 points, Amufira Wanderers 24 points, Atletico Lusaka, they have 24 points. Nchanga Rangers, they have 22 points. Napsa Stars, 20 points. And Mutondo Stars, they have 20 points. Zanaco, struggling Zanaco, 17 points. Rumwana Radiant, 17 points. Forest Rangers, 16 points. And the list there is Ndeni, our own Ndeni here in Indora, is 6 points. How do you look at the performance of these teams? I will start with Melek.
Yes, Tobin. For me, I think the league has been very competitive. The 2024-2025 season, if you look at the gap, the points gap of the teams, I think you can attest that the league is very competitive. You look at Zesco is dislodged. The next time Zesco is back on the top. And sometimes you see Cabo Warriors, decent Cabo Warriors was topping. Again, the table has changed. So for me, I think it's a very competitive league, and we expect that when the recess ends, come 11th of January, when the league will resume, we expect that it will be very interesting to see these teams. And not only that, we expect that those teams which are at the bottom, they talk of Zanaco, the decision of Zanaco. I don't think management at Zanaco would want the team of Zanaco's pedigree, you know, to get relegated. So it would be interesting to see such teams trying to improve, more especially when these return games, you know, get at the peak. So for me, I think it's quite very interesting, both at the bottom and at the top. Okay, I'll single out Nkana Football Club. I think Mwenye's people has been very exciting. And yesterday when I was chatting with him, by the way, yesterday, and he did mention that we are contenders in terms of lifting the 2024-2025 season. Because I think Nkana, before when people trekked to Nkana, I think it was third from the bottom. But when he went there, I think you have seen that he has inculcated that belief in the players and the motivation aspect. And we are seeing that Nkana now, they are lying second on the log. And there are 2 points adrift of league leaders, Zesco United. So for me, I'm seeing Nkana, if Zesco will try to mess up things, Nkana may simply arise to the occasion and simply be crowned champions of the 2024-2025 season, looking at the pace that the team is moving.
All right, Peter, how do you look at the table, the performance of the teams?
Tovin, I think I would say grab your popcorns, take the front row, and let's enjoy football. Because the second half of the Zambian Super League is about to get excited already. And you know, when you look from top, talk of Zesco, Nkana, Power Dynamos, they are all in the song, in search of glory or the coveted trophy. And then downstairs there, you look at Inden, you look at Lumwana Radiance, you look at Zanaco. They are also flirting with danger. And again, you know, I must give it to the bad boys. Atletico Lusaka, for me, they've been exciting, coming in there, and they've fit in well, and they've played some good football. Of course, they've suffered some bad results, but I like how they gel together. They've been trained. I would say those boys are from the football lab. They've been prepared well to cope with any situation. And also, I can't talk about the exciting of the Super League and second half without talking about the merry-go-round of the coaches. We've seen the likes of Coach Tenant Chembo suffering the sword. Of course, they were chopped. George Chicken not spared. You talk about Mwenya Chipepo moving from Forest going to Nkana, Ian Bakala going the opposite side. And of course, the rumors are, you know, are suggesting Numba Mumamba may head back to Zesco. You know, we've had Swale also proving his, his doubters to say, I can also steady ship. I can do what I can. We've seen Justin Chinama moving around. We've seen the likes of KBH Chipukas and of course Napsas. Also, they've stuck with their gang in the guy they got. So it's been also interesting both from the coaches, from the players. Now there will be an open window in January. So players also are likely to trek from one club to another. That's why I said, grab your front seat and get the popcorns. Let's enjoy the fun.
All right. Let's also look at the Zambia Premier League National League before they went on recess and see who is also on top. We have Concordia Breds, right hand from Chile, boys from Chilawongwe. They are on the table. They are standing on 41 points. We have Kansanshi Dynamos. They are on 37 points. We have Prison Leopards. They are at they have 33 points. River Plate, they have 29 points. We have Trident, all the way from Karumbira, they have 28 points. We have Murungushi Harbor, they have 27 points. We have Mines United, they have 26 points. Jumro FC, they have 25 points. Chirondo United, 21. Kafue Celtics, 21 as well. Kafue Eagles, 19. Ndora United, 19. Agra Stars, 19. Leopards Hill, 19. Quito United, 18. And Young Green Buffaloes, they have 18 points as well. Chipata United, they have 17 points. And Chambishi, who are at the bottom with 15 points. And how do you look at the performance of the National League as well? Peter?
Tovin, we've always said that the ZPA or National League, formerly known as Division 1, is where football is played. You know, people that have played in there argue, they will tell you football is actually tougher in the lower division than in the top flight. You know, you can tell by how they've sized one another up and how they stand. Of course, you know, the likes of Quito United used to be the big boys. Of course, they've played in the top flight before. You expect them to be there. But to see where they are in the table tells you it's not a walk in the park. it's difficult out there. Of course, credit goes to Best on Quicksilver Chambesh with Konkola Blades. They've gone there, and of course, they've already registered their intentions to return to the top flight football. You know, that's how you see how competitive it is. Chambish, you know, those are the teams of the yesteryears, but you see where they are, you know, you feel they should do better. But football being what it is competitive, it's fast and thick, and you know, you get to play a lot of games covering long distances, and you know, fatigue has a say on the players. So yeah, you also feel for the Ndola United, the people's team, you know, them making a debut in there, you feel they should campaign to try and, you know, progress, but as things stand, survival should be only the name of the game.
All right, Melvin.
Yes, Tobin, I think if, in Zambia, if we talk of the most difficult league in terms of men's football, we talk of the National Division 1. This league, I think, is very competitive. And seeing a team like Sharp Konkola Blades only losing one game out of the 16, 17 games that have been played so far.
18 games.
18 games. You know, it's quite very, morale booster for the team. Kudos to Best on Chambeshi, who has managed to win 17 out of 18 games, because I think he has maintained. I like the consistency which is being exhibited by Sharp Konkola Blades. And not only that, I think even Kansanshi Dynamos, I think they have been also on song. I think they have the intentions to get back to the Elite League. I think they have so far maintained the second position. Not only that, I think we have also seen that Prison Leopard have also tried to also keep the momentum of, showing the intentions of coming back to the Elite League. It's only that I think they were demotivated last time. I think before the league went on recess, we saw Prison Leopard losing to Jumulo a goal to nil, I think, which was very devastating for Prison Leopard. But I think overall, if you see the teams in the National Division 1, I think it's quite very competitive. We saw at some point Bulungu Harbour, they were lying third on the log, but they were dislodged. And we are seeing Ndola United, they started very well. I think now they are struggling, like Peter said. We see how it will pan out. But I will tell you that Sharp Konkola Blades with Beson Chambeshi, they are getting back to the Elite League, because I think they have been very consistent in as far as National Division 1 football is concerned.
All right, maybe let's look at this Ndeni University Women's Super League as well. We look at the standing. We have Zesco and Ndola girls, like they're following their men. They are also topping. They have 55 points after playing 19 games and also winning 18 of them, drawing one, and they have not lost any game from the time the league kicked on. And we have Red Arrows women, they have 43 points. And then Roses, they have 43 points as well. And we have the elite ladies, who have 30 points. Okay, actually I missed one of the teams there. There is Green Buffaloes women, they have 39, and then the elite ladies, they have 30 points. Then we have Campisa Police Blue Eagles, they have 28 points. Yasa Queens, they have 26. Green Eagles women, they have 25. Trident Queens, they have 23. ZISD FC, or football team, they have 23. We have Zanaco ladies, they have 22 points, and they are standing on number 11. We have Nchanga Rangers, they have 22 points as well. Riando Foundation, they have 19. Inquaz Queens, 18. Police Doves Queens, they have 18 as well. Yeah, police Doves Queens, they have 17, not 18, I mean. And then we have Choma Warriors Academy, they have 11, and the Nkana Queens, they have 11 points. How do you look at their performance, Peter?
Tovin, when you look at the Eden University Zambian Women's Super League, also is getting excited. Of course, leading the pack is Ndola Zesco ladies. Kudos to Coach Willie. Of course, having finished second, it means they learned something, and they went to the drawing board. I feel like it's the most abused phrase, going to the drawing board, but hey, it has worked for them, and they are there now. They are leading. But one thing I would say is where they are is dangerous. Going into the second round, what do I mean by that? They are now a team to beat by everyone. And you can tell by how they went 18 games unbeaten, but it took the first game in the second leg where they drew against Yasa. The teams, if you look at the momentum they went with in the first place, they should have brushed aside. But they kind of, went slowly from the Elite Ladies game, the game that I watched. Of course, they scrapped through and won. Of course, Trident also, it was the same. Now Yasa. So it may also come like complacence coming in when it comes to the players. So if I were Coach Willie, I would say the job is not done. Let's go there. 10-point gap is not that much big. However, it would be good to make sure they go in there, they maintain the same momentum, and they continue beating, because the defending champions, of course, in Green Buffaloes, we've seen Red Arrows also, the service men's team, the service women's team, of course, are chasing the pack also. That's how you see it's also competitive, and kudos to Eden University coming through and sponsoring the league also. It has become competitive.
All right, Melvin.
I think it has been so great, the women's football, and I can only wish that Ndola girls team, I think they have done extremely very well in terms of women's football. And for me, women's football in Zambia has been dominant by the GBFC, Green Buffaloes women's ladies. But of late, I think we have seen Ndola girls even topping the log, which is for me quite very important, because it brings in competition, because it gives other teams, showing their also how they play in the league. So for me, I think it is quite very interesting, and we can only wish that the teams which are competing to lift the league, like Ndola Girls and Yasa and other teams, Red Arrows, I think we give them that kudos.
All right, let's move on also with a few minutes remaining with the English Premier League results. Which were played actually over the weekend. We had Leicester City 0, Manchester City 2, West Ham 0, Liverpool 5, Tottenham 2, Wolves 2, Fulham 2, Bournemouth 2, Everton 0, Nottingham Forest 2, Crystal Palace 2, Southampton 1. And looking at the result, Liverpool still dominating. Melvin, your team.
Yes, quite interesting. I think, just like I said last time, Tobin, I assured you that Liverpool 2024-25 season, I think it is for Liverpool. If you have seen how Liverpool has been performing, Coach Slot, I think he has made a continuation from where Klopp left. And there is consistency in as far as Liverpool team is concerned. Yes, the champions, former champions, I would call them now, Manchester City. I think we have seen them, out of 13 games that they played in the recent past, I think they only managed to record 2 wins. The last time they just beat Leicester City 2-0. So for me, I think Liverpool, it's a team that means business this time around, and they want to reclaim the league which they surrendered to Manchester City.
All right, look at also Leicester City. With Patson Daka coming on just for, but when the game was about to end in 85 minutes and just played for about 10 minutes because of it at the time of 5 minutes. Manchester City also, which is struggling, also at last trying to grab a win away at Leicester City. Peter, how do you look at the performance of the teams right now in the Premier League?
It's getting interesting, Tovin, of course, looking at the second half. That's where the most football is actually played. Reason being, you have the UEFA Champions League narrowing down, getting the cream de la cream grouping together. You see the Premier League survival to stay in the Premiership starts right in the second half. And of course, other than survival, you also talk about the Champions League, the 4 slots. Of course, the fight is there. Now you have the Europa, you have the Conference League. So it gets fast and thick. And of course, there will also be the winter transfer window. Players will move in and out. Injuries will trickle in. Fatigue will come through because international games also will kickstart in March. So it gets to the players or the teams that will have players that will have the resilience to win trophies or to win the silverware. So right about now, yes, survival is the name of the game for teams like Leicester City, Southampton, and of course Ipswich. And then when you talk about a race for silverware, of course, Annie has slotted Liverpool up top. We will see the Gunners, of course, chasing. We see Nottingham Forest surprise package, of course, being in there, the former European champions. They want to reclaim their glory days. We see the likes of Wood. Of course, they know what they are doing with Thomas Frank. They are there now. So it's fast and thick. Nobody ever thought Nottingham Forest would be in the top 2 right now, but they are, having just played going into the second half of the season. So that's where it happened, and nobody ever thought Man City would be, languishing where they are after having issues. But, I can't completely rule them out. Of course, they are former champions. They know how to do it. They've done it not once, not twice, but even now, they may actually just sneak it through, not winning it, but at least finishing in the top 4 and qualifying for next UEFA Champions League season.
All right. As we conclude the program, your last words, Melvin.
Yes, Tobin. My last word, I think I can only appeal to the Football Association of Zambia to ensure that it prepares the teams that have qualified. I'm talking of the junior teams, the male, the female teams, they have qualified. And it's on fans if they can prepare the national teams, you see Zambia performing. Okay, and for the senior national team, men national team, I think it will take Abraham Grant to maintain the team so that come next year, 2025, we'll see Zambia, competing at the Morocco 2025 Africa Cup of Nations, because we would have a very strong squad. Remember that strikers like Patson Daka, they are back, Bambum Sonda is back. So we may have a very strong team. Edward Chilufya is back, so we will have a strong team. What is important is for Abraham Grant to maintain the team, and of course, Football Association of Zambia preparing the team in terms of friendly matches.
All right, Peter, your last words as well.
Tovin, I would say, they say fortune follows the ruthless. Yes, let's not over-celebrate the successes we recorded. Let's use them to propel us into the next round. And the setbacks that we suffered, let's all turn them into positives and go into the forthcoming tournaments with a bang. It's high time we stop being just participants, but let's go be there and be competitors.
All right, viewers, we have come to the end of our Zanis Sports, and we have been reviewing the performance of the Zambia national teams, especially the football teams, from the men, the women, the under-20, the under-17, their performance in the 2024, and now how they will reposition themselves as we go into 2025. And we looked also at the table in the Zambia Super League and the National League, and also the Women's Super League as well, how they performed and how they also repositioned themselves in the year coming 2025, where we are now. So, and we have also looked at the Premier League performance, where they are and how the teams are performing. And I have been your host, Tovin Ngombe, and I had my guest, Peter Chanda, and also Melvin Melek to help in analyzing the games and also give their input in how the national teams are performing in Zambia right now. So see you next time on your Zanis Sports, and on behalf of my technical team, we are saying bye-bye.